Ladies and gentlemen, our mind is like a restless ocean. Waves of thoughts constantly rising and falling, some calm and peaceful, others wild and stormy. To live a truly meaningful life, we must learn how to discipline these thoughts. Because your thoughts shape your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. The one who controls their thoughts controls their life. When your mind is undisciplined, even small challenges appear like mountains. But when your mind is disciplined, even mountains appear like small challenges. Discipline of thought is not about suppressing what you feel. It's about guiding your mind with awareness, just like a rider gently guiding a powerful horse. In Buddhism, this awareness is called mindfulness. The art of being fully present with your thoughts without becoming a slave to them. Whenever a negative thought arises, anger, jealousy, fear, or doubt, don't fight it. Simply observe it, watch it come, and you'll watch it go. Thoughts are like clouds drifting through the sky. They pass, but the sky remains. You are that sky. When you stop identifying with every passing thought, you gain power over them. This is the essence of inner peace, not the absence of thoughts, but mastery over them. Discipline begins with awareness. Each morning, before you speak, act, or react, pause for a moment and check your thoughts. Are they positive? Are they kind? Are they aligned with the person you want to become? If not, change them. A single disciplined thought can change the direction of your entire day. And days become weeks, weeks become months, and months become your life. Remember, a disciplined mind leads to happiness, and an undisciplined mind leads to suffering. The battle you fight each day is not against the world. It is within yourself. Every time you choose calm over chaos, love over anger, patience over reaction, you are winning that battle. So, discipline your thoughts, not with force, but with understanding. Treat your mind like a garden. Remove the weeds of negativity and plant seeds of gratitude, kindness, and compassion. Because the mind you train today will create the peace you live in tomorrow. Awareness is the first step toward disciplining your thoughts, because you cannot change what you are not aware of. Most people live their lives on autopilot, reacting, thinking, and speaking without realizing what is happening inside their minds. Thoughts come and go like a constant stream, and without awareness, they control us instead of us controlling them. Awareness means to pause, to observe, and to notice what is happening within you in the present moment. It's about becoming the witness of your own mind. When you begin to watch your thoughts without judgment, you start to see patterns, fears that repeat, doubts that rise, and desires that pull you in different directions. This awareness doesn't mean you have to stop your thoughts. It means you learn to understand them. When you become aware, you create a space between your thoughts and your reactions. That small space is your power, the power to choose. In that moment of awareness, you can decide whether to feed a negative thought or let it pass. It's like standing on the riverbank and watching the water flow instead of being swept away by the current. The more aware you become, the more control you gain over your mind. Practicing awareness starts with simple moments. When you wake up, Before you check your phone or talk to anyone, notice your first thought. Is it peaceful or anxious? During your day, whenever you feel anger, fear, or stress, don't act on it immediately. Pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? That simple question brings your mind into the present and helps you observe your mental state. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to remain centered even in chaos. Awareness also brings clarity. You begin to understand which thoughts uplift you and which ones drain your energy. You start to see how your thoughts influence your emotions and actions. By simply observing your mind, you begin to purify it, just as water becomes clear when it is left still. When awareness grows, your thoughts naturally start aligning with peace and purpose. You no longer become a victim of random emotions. Instead, you become the master of your own inner world. This is where true discipline begins. Not through control, but through conscious understanding. Mindfulness over reaction is one of the most powerful ways to discipline your thoughts. The mind is constantly generating reactions to situations, to people, to emotions, often before we even realize it. When something unpleasant happens, the mind quickly jumps into anger, fear, or worry. When something pleasant occurs, it clings and wants more. This cycle of reaction keeps us trapped in restlessness. Mindfulness teaches us to pause before responding. It helps us observe our thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them. Instead of reacting impulsively, we learn to act with awareness. When you practice mindfulness, you become a silent observer of your own mental patterns. You start to notice how certain thoughts trigger emotions and how those emotions influence your actions. For example, when someone criticizes you, the automatic reaction may be to feel hurt or defensive. But with mindfulness, you can pause and watch that emotion rise. You notice the anger or pain, but you don't become it. You take a breath and create space between the feeling and your response. That small gap gives you control, the power to choose peace over conflict, patience over irritation, and understanding over judgment. Mindfulness is not about suppressing your emotions, it's about seeing them clearly. When you are mindful, you no longer fight your thoughts or feelings. You simply witness them. You watch your mind like a calm observer, knowing that every thought and emotion is temporary. This awareness breaks the chain of reaction. Over time, your mind becomes quieter and more stable because it learns not to be driven by every passing impulse. This calm state allows wisdom to arise naturally. Practicing mindfulness doesn't require special tools or places. It can begin with something as simple as breathing. When you focus on your breath, your attention returns to the present moment. You begin to feel grounded, centered, and peaceful. The more you stay present, the less control your past and future have over you. In this state of awareness, your reactions transform into conscious actions. You stop living out of habit and start living with intention. Every mindful moment strengthens your mental discipline. With mindfulness, your thoughts no longer rule you. You rule them with clarity, patience, and peace. Letting thoughts come and go is the art of allowing the mind to flow freely without getting attached to anything that passes through it. Thoughts are like clouds drifting across the sky. They appear, change shape, and disappear. The problem arises when we start chasing or resisting them. We hold on to pleasant thoughts, wanting them to last forever, and we fight unpleasant ones, wishing they would vanish immediately. In doing so, we become trapped in a constant struggle within our own minds. The practice of letting thoughts come and go is about observing them without clinging or rejecting, allowing the natural rhythm of the mind to unfold. When you stop trying to control every thought, you begin to experience peace. You realize that thoughts by themselves have no real power until you give them attention. A thought of anger will fade if you don't feed it. A thought of fear will lose strength if you don't believe in it. But when you attach to a thought, you give it energy, and it starts controlling you. The discipline lies in becoming a watcher. To see the thought, acknowledge it, and let it pass like a wave returning to the sea. This simple awareness transforms your inner world. Practicing this requires patience and presence. Whenever a negative thought arises, don't label it as bad. Just notice it. Watch how it enters, stays for a while, and eventually leaves. By doing this again and again, your mind starts learning that not every thought deserves your attention. You begin to detach from the chaos of the mind and connect with the stillness behind it. That stillness is your true self, calm, clear, and unshaken. This practice also helps in emotional healing. Many times we suffer not because of what happens, but because we replay the same thoughts over and over. When you allow thoughts to move freely, you stop the cycle of overthinking and self-torment. You start living more in the present moment. The mind becomes lighter, and peace starts to flow naturally. The secret is to trust the process. Thoughts will come and go like waves, but you are the ocean beneath them. Nothing can disturb the depth of your being when you learn to let go and simply observe. Replacing negativity with positivity is one of the most transformative disciplines for the mind. Every thought you allow to stay in your mind has the power to shape your emotions, actions, and even your destiny. Negative thoughts such as anger, jealousy, fear, or self-doubt drain your energy and cloud your vision. They create mental noise that prevents you from experiencing peace and clarity. But when you consciously replace these thoughts with positive ones, thoughts of gratitude, compassion, and hope, you begin to shift your inner state. The mind becomes your ally instead of your enemy. This process doesn't happen overnight, but with awareness and practice, it becomes a natural habit. The first step is recognition. You must learn to catch a negative thought the moment it arises. For example, when your mind says, "I can't do this," stop and replace it with, "I will try my best." When anger appears, breathe and remind yourself, "I choose calm." Every time you replace a negative pattern with a positive one, you strengthen a new pathway in your brain. Over time, these positive pathways become stronger and more automatic, allowing peace and optimism to become your natural state of mind. Positivity does not mean ignoring pain or pretending that everything is perfect. It means seeing the light even in difficult moments. When challenges come, you remind yourself that every problem carries a lesson, and every dark night leads to a brighter dawn. By thinking this way, you create resilience, the ability to remain calm and hopeful no matter what happens. A disciplined mind knows how to transform pain into purpose and failure into wisdom. You can cultivate positive thoughts through daily gratitude, affirmations, and mindful reflection. Start each morning by thinking of 3 things you are thankful for, and end each night with kind words to yourself. When your mind begins to wander toward negativity, gently bring it back to what uplifts and empowers you. This constant redirection is how discipline grows. Eventually, positivity becomes your default state. Your thoughts radiate kindness. Your energy inspires others, and your presence becomes peaceful. The more you practice replacing negativity with positivity, the more your world transforms. Not because life becomes easier, but because your mind becomes stronger. Consistency builds discipline, because true mastery of the mind doesn't happen in a single moment. It develops through steady practice over time. The mind, like a muscle, grows stronger with daily training. Just as you wouldn't expect physical fitness from one day of exercise, you can't expect mental discipline from occasional effort. Consistency means showing up for yourself every day, even when you don't feel like it. It means practicing awareness, mindfulness, and positive thinking repeatedly until they become natural habits. Each small, consistent action builds a foundation of strength within your mind. Many people start with enthusiasm, but give up when progress feels slow. But discipline is not about speed, it's about persistence. Even 5 minutes of daily meditation or quiet reflection can transform your mental state if done consistently. Over time, your mind learns to stay calm under pressure, focused amidst distractions, and peaceful during challenges. Every moment you choose awareness over impulse, patience over anger, or gratitude over negativity, you are strengthening your mental discipline. These small victories accumulate and eventually shape your entire character. Consistency also teaches commitment. It reminds you that self-mastery is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey. Some days you may feel peaceful, while other days your thoughts may be stormy. But discipline means continuing your practice, no matter what. You learn to observe your progress without judgment, and to keep returning to your path, again and again. This steady dedication is what separates growth from stagnation. The beauty of consistency is that it turns effort into habit. What once felt difficult becomes natural. At first, you may need to remind yourself to breathe before reacting, to think positively, or to meditate daily. But with repetition, your mind begins to do it automatically. This is how lasting transformation happens. Not through sudden change, but through continuous refinement. The key is patience with yourself and trust in the process. Every small step matters. Even when you don't see immediate results, know that your efforts are shaping the way you think and live. In time, consistency transforms discipline from something you practice into something you are. Inner peace comes from mastery of the mind, not from controlling the outside world. Most people spend their lives trying to fix situations, change others, or avoid discomfort, believing that peace will come when everything around them is perfect. But the truth is, no matter how much you try to control the external world, something will always be uncertain or unpredictable. Real peace is found when you stop chasing control outside and start cultivating mastery within. When your thoughts are disciplined, calm, and clear, even chaos around you cannot disturb your inner stillness. Mastery of the mind begins with understanding that peace is not the absence of problems, but the presence of clarity. When challenges arise, an undisciplined mind reacts with fear, frustration, or anger, but a disciplined mind observes, accepts, and responds with wisdom. It doesn't get lost in the emotions of the moment. It stays rooted in awareness. This mastery gives you strength to remain calm in situations where others might fall apart. It allows you to see things as they are, not as your fears or desires want them to be. Inner mastery also means taking responsibility for your emotional state. Instead of blaming others or circumstances for your stress, you turn inward and understand how your thoughts are shaping your feelings. You realize that peace is not something you wait for. It's something you create. By choosing calmness, compassion, and understanding, you shape the inner world that determines how you experience life. This awareness frees you from being a victim of external situations. To cultivate this inner mastery, daily self-reflection and mindfulness are essential. Spend time each day sitting quietly, watching your breath, and observing your thoughts. Notice how easily the mind wants to wander, judge, or worry. With practice, you will learn to gently bring it back, again and again, to stillness. Each time you do, your control over the mind strengthens. Eventually, your peace becomes unshakable, not because life becomes easier, but because you no longer allow your thoughts to dictate your emotions. The storm may rage outside, but inside you remain calm, steady, and free. That is the highest form of discipline, the ability to stay peaceful in the midst of everything. Thanks for watching.